Hello everyone and welcome to a most interesting game that took place some 62 years ago. It's a game between Robert James Fischer and Cesar Munoz Vicuna. A lot of you guys have requested it, which I thought was very weird because you guys request either modern games or sometimes you do request older games. But here, a lot of you requested this particular game, and then I realized why a article was published regarding this game, which I will link in the description below if you guys want to check it out. It will be in the first thing you see in the description, but it features a game from the Leipzig Olympiad that was played in 1960. It was United States versus Ecuador, and here on World 1 truly a miracle happens. Now, for those of you who are not really great with chess years, how strong was Bobby Fischer in 1960? Well, he was fairly strong. He just finished the 1959 candidates tournament, I mean, you guys know players that he faced there, and basically he is a monster now. So whoever he faces, he will feel the full extent of his wrath, especially with the white pieces. But here we don't have all that many games from Cesar Munoz Vicuna. He is a master. For example, here you can see there is this nice photo. It says Fischer International Grossmeister, that is International Grandmaster, and Munoz, it says Meister, so he is a master. But I imagine there are games that he played somewhere, but in international play there are only two events that he has played: the Under 26 World Championship, where he defeated some incredible names like Friedrich Olafsson and he defeated Friedrich Olafsson and even Bent Larsen, and that's it. That was played in 1957, and now this is the second event he's playing in international-wise, the 1960 Leipzig Olympiad. So let's check it out and see why this game is so wonderful. All of you heard the story. They asked Bobby Fischer, "What do you think about the Dragon Sicilian?" And Fischer says, "Oh yeah, you just push h4, g4, h5, g5, and white wins." So that's kind of exactly what happened here. Cesar Munoz Vicuna plays the Dragon Sicilian against Bobby Fischer, and Bobby just plays all the top engine moves, but still he somehow loses. So what happened here actually, and why was this game? When this game, I will tell you, when this game was published the next day in the Ecuadorian newspapers, they titled it Ecuadorian defeated a hostile alien force that had an IQ greater than Albert Einstein. So there you have it. Now let's check out the game and see what is so incredible here. So Fischer opens with e4, as he usually does, and Vicuna opens with c5. The Sicilian defense is on the board. Knight f3, d6, we have d4, c captures, knight captures, and now knight to f6. We have knight to c3, and now, well, you could play the Najdorf Sicilian, which is the most popular today. g6, the Dragon Sicilian, or the Dragon variation of the Sicilian, is what Cesar Munoz Vicuna chooses against Bobby Fischer here. And okay, now Bobby has a chance to prove what he said. He said bishop e3, f3, queen d2, g4, h4. You start pushing the pawns, and black resigns. So let's see how this works out. Bishop to e3. And okay, bishop to g7. We have pawn to f3, castles, and queen to d2. Bobby prepares the castle queenside, and he won many a game using this exact same technique. Knight to c6, and now bishop to c4. The Fischer's weapon. I remember when I only started learning about chess, I learned that Bobby really liked the light square bishop. So whenever I had a position and I knew that Bobby Fischer had this exact same position that I'm playing, it just felt like a moment of pure like happiness and calamity. It was really awesome. But yeah, okay, bishop to c4, and now pawn to a6, and this is the first move that really deviates from the modern knowledge of chess. Here, bishop to d7 or knight to d7 or the immediate capture on d4 are the standard moves. But okay, this was played 62 years ago, so pawn to a6, and now Fischer plays bishop back to b3. This is pretty much, if you cover Fischer's games, like grab any of the book that covers them, you will always see against the Sicilian Fischer going bishop c4 to b3. Those are moves, next to each other always. Queen to a5, and now we have queenside castles by Bobby. And already, if you gave this position with the white pieces to any modern grandmaster, they would just crush the player with the black pieces. And so would Bobby most likely on a good day, but this was not a good day for Bobby. Here we have bishop to d7, and this position as of move 11 has never been repeated again. So let's see how Bobby continues this. King to b1, always a nice prophylactic idea. We have rook 8 to c8, and now pawn to g4. Now Bobby starts pushing his pawns. We have knight to e5, now preparing knight to c4 to attack the dark square bishop and the queen, which means that Bobby will have to give up his light square bishop. And here, white can immediately seize advantage with knight to d5. You just open up a discovery here. If you go back, then white is just better. And of course, if you trade here, queen captures, then we first win a pawn with check, and only after the king moves do we recapture the queen, and now we're up a pawn, and we just have a better position. So that's one way to do it. Fischer, however, played bishop to h6, which again is not terrible. It's still very much playable, and white is still better. Knight to c4 now, attacking the queen, and Fischer captures it. Bishop captures, rook captures, and now we have knight to b3. Here, one thing that needs to be pointed out, that capturing on g7 is just crucial. For example, bishop captures, king captures, now we play knight b3, attack the black queen, and once the black queen moves, then we go after the knight. Attack the knight, knight h5, now we bring the knight to d5, and this is just a beautiful, beautiful position for white. However, Fischer for some reason doesn't trade this bishop. Knight to b3, attacking the queen, and now the difference is black doesn't have to move the queen. Black can just play bishop captures on h6 and attack Fischer's queen, which would kind of force a queen trade. But luckily for Fischer, Vicuna goes queen to e5, and now we have h4 by Bobby. It's like he's possessed with this idea that he just needs to push the g and h pawn against the dragon Sicilian, and he will just win the game. And here we have rook f to c8. Again, letting Bobby off the hook a bit too easy. Here, any modern player would play rook captures on c3. It's a standard move to any Sicilian player, giving up this rook for the knight. For example, if pawn captures, we play bishop captures on g4, and after the bishops get traded off, let's say f captures, knight captures on e4, now we're going to capture here, and it's just a very, very active position for black. For example, queen d3, we're going to play this with check, king is going to move, now we can capture here with check, we can capture the rook, we can play rook to c8, we don't have to capture anything, and it's black has all the compensation in the world, and this is perfectly fine. But okay, in the game, Munoz had something else in mind. He played rook f to c8, and now we have bishop to f4. Again, Fischer should trade bishops here, but for some reason he doesn't. It's like he doesn't have the light square bishop, so he needs to have the one bishop in the game. I don't know. So queen to e6, and now pawn to h5, staying true to what he said, just pushing those g and h pawns. But now comes pawn to b5. H captures on g6, we have f captures on g6, and now bishop to h6, repeating and offering a trade once again, but now bishop to h8, and now simply this doesn't work. And here it's not easy to find the move for Bobby. You have to try something, probably something like rook to c1 or queen to d3, just some slow maneuvering moves, but Bobby played e5. He wanted to force things, and this is what resulted in his downfall on this particular day. So feel free to pause the video and try to find the only move that wins the game for Cesar Munoz Vicuna while I give you a couple of seconds. And also, this is another photo we have. It's of a lesser quality, but I imagine it's from this position where I asked you guys to pause the video. You can see that Bobby is staring at his opponent. Will he figure out what's happening? You can see that he's laser focused on the board. Well, to Bobby's horror, he does find it, and hopefully you guys did as well. To all of you who found pawn to b4, congratulations, as that is most often the answer in chess. So yeah, b4 was played, and now there really isn't all that much Fischer can do here. You can't really move the knight because rook captures on c2. So here e captures on f6 was played. Now b captures on c3, attacking the queen. We have queen to h2, now preparing to move the bishop and play queen captures on h7. Now queen captures on f6. We have bishop to g5, moving the bishop with tempo, hoping for queen captures bishop, so you can play queen captures on h7, but Cesar just moves the queen back. Queen f7 guards the h7 pawn. We have queen back to e2 by Bobby, and now c captures on b2. Also notice that the pawn is nicely guarded by the bishop on h8, and here Bobby just realizes that there is nothing better than to try and reclaim some material. Queen captures on e7, queen captures, we have bishop captures, and now unfortunately for Fischer, rook captures on c2. Rook captures on d6, and now bishop to a4, and this is now a terrible threat as the b2 pawn is defended by the bishop. The threat is just bishop captures on b3 and rook to c1, and Fischer can resign. So here bishop to g5, Fischer finds a way to guard that c1 square, but now rook to f2. And there really isn't a good move for Bobby. Bishop to e3, going after the rook. Rook captures on f3, and now bishop to d4, countering this very strong bishop here. Bishop captures on b3 first, a captures, and now bishop captures on d4. Finally, the dragon is traded off, but it is much too late. You have to tame the dragon as soon as possible against the dragon Sicilian. So rook captures on d4, rook captures on b3, and now rook to d2. Now Fischer will still try. He's one pawn against four pawns, but of course he has to try. We have rook c to b8, now saying, okay, now I guard this pawn, there's no way you can ever capture it. Now I can just push this pawn to victory. It really doesn't matter. A last attempt, rook to d7 by Bobby. Now comes rook to a3. And it was in this position on move 36 that Robert James Fischer resigned the game, as there is nothing more to be done here. Here, okay, if you play something weird like rook here, then maybe Fischer can get a draw with something like rook captures on h7. But after rook to a3, it's instant resign, and of course Fischer resigned. There is no defense against rook a1 check. You're gonna lose this rook, and even if you go for rook captures on h7, now it's just a forced mate in 7. Still, you're just gonna bring a queen into the game, and now whatever you do, just a nice quick checkmating pattern. You can even give up a rook and checkmate the white king. Doesn't really matter. Absolutely everything is winning here. So truly an incredible game by Cesar Munoz Vicuna, who really, there are only 18 games in the database that he played in international waters, but he defeated some incredibly strong players, and he faced some very strong players. So definitely not a good day for Bobby. Bobby was very sad. Some even say Bobby cried after this game, but you know, all the great ones do. They just cry when they lose. So yeah, like I said, if you guys want to check out the entire article, I will put a link to it in the description below. You have to use translate to English, so maybe not, it will maybe not be perfect, but you know, it's very much understandable. So yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Because we always mention this story when, you know, someone asks Fischer what he thinks about the dragon Sicilian, and he's like, yeah, you just push the pawns and white wins. But you know, maybe like 99 times out of 100, but not 100 times out of 100, as Cesar Munoz Vicuna here has shown us. So yeah, and once again, really hope you guys enjoyed it. I would like to thank Omicron, Pico Cescali, Ishmael Rivera, Joshua Figueroa Lintag, and Richard Nickerson for a contribution to my channel. Thank you a lot, I really appreciate it. As usual, you can check 2 of my previous videos here. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you soon, continuing to check up on your wonderful suggestions, such as this one and whatever else happens in the chess world. So thank you all, I will see you soon, and have an excellent rest of your day.